Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Marilee, like the song. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, it's free. So as you can see by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my Lasik eye surgery experience and how all of that went. I know it took me like a hot minute to make this video, but here it is. Sorry for the wait. So hopefully I'll be able to answer like any questions you may have, because I know there were questions I have had, and if I do miss anything, if I did miss anything, just make sure to leave it down in the comments, and I'll make sure just to personally write it to you so that you can feel at ease. With that being said, I think that the best way for me to be able to explain everything about how that works is just to go by telling you my stories. I had worn glasses since the 3rd grade all the way until high school when I was 18. I'm 20, by the way. Now I'm turning 21 in February, just saying. But yeah, I was 18. I'm 20 now, so that was about 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, where I got the surgery. I was about 12 years old when my father got the surgery, so I was very interested as to how that worked. My eyesight when my dad got the surgery was worse than his. Basically, just to explain to you how blind I was, the best that I could see without my glasses was about like this far. Like this is where I could see perfectly, and that's pretty bad. So I know with contacts and glasses, the prescription numbers are a little different, but I was about a -725, -8 around there. There are requirements that you have to meet in order to get the surgery. So for one, you do have to be at least 18 years old, and this is just because of the fact that when you turn 18 until you turn 21, your eyesight slows down, so it stops changing all of a sudden. I had worn contacts, and my contacts, they actually got infected. It was literally just one night. I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and I'd run out of solution. So I was like, oh, the water I recently put on like a couple hours ago, or not even. So let me just put them on, whatever, no big deal, right? So I put the contacts on, and then the whole day goes by, everything's fine, nice and dandy. I buy new contact water and I go to sleep. The next morning I wake up and literally my left eye is foggy. Like I cannot see, and I'm thinking, oh, it's probably just like, eye boogers or whatever, like, the eye stuff. So I I'm scratching my eye, and like it doesn't go away, and I'm like, I start freaking out, and I go to the doctors, and I'm like, oh my god, it was just an eye infection that I got because of the contact. Bacteria builds up when there's water overnight or for a couple of hours. So I had to wear these eye drops for about a week and a half so that that could go away. At this point, I sat down and I was like, I am not wearing contacts anymore. I am not wearing glasses anymore. I need to get the surgery. So I sit down and I start researching like my nearest a Lasik eye surgery center. Where would I go? Come to find out, there was one not too far from where I lived. So I called them and I asked, well, how does it work? And they're like, well, you literally come in, and there's a consultation, and we'll do some tests. We run some tests to know if you qualify for the surgery or not. My heart sank because I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna qualify. I'm gonna stay blind forever. I'm gonna be wearing these glasses. And mind you, I didn't like wearing my glasses because my prescription was so high that I looked like fondo de botella. Like, when the glasses are so thick that your eyes look like really small. That was me, and I really hated it. So I made an appointment. The appointment was free of charge, at least at the clinic that I went to. It was free of charge, and they basically run some tests on you. Now, one thing that they do tell you is that if you do wear contacts, make sure that a week and a half before your appointment, you do not wear your contacts and you wear glasses. And this is something really interesting that I actually didn't know. When you wear contacts, because of course it's covering your eye, it's a foreign object, it's not letting your eyeball breathe. So basically, it changes the shape of your eyeball. So in order for them to run the test, they have to measure, of course, like the way your eye is. It takes about like a week and a half for your eye shape to actually go back to its normal size, or its normal shape. And I was like, whoa, like if that doesn't creep you out about contacts, I don't know what will. This whole week and a half before I even go to the appointment, I'm like doing my research, all this research about Lasik eye surgery. One of my biggest concerns was, does it hurt? Would I go blind? That's, of course, one that probably most people are curious about. There has been cases of people going blind because of contacts, but there is no cases yet of anyone going blind because of the surgery. And trust me, I watched a lot of testimonies and a lot of people in vlogs and just people going to do it. And after a while, I was settled in and I was like, all right, it's my turn. So the week and a half goes by, my eye is back to normal. I go into my appointment, and they basically just run they do the regular eye test, like to see if your eyesight has changed. They take a look at your prescription and they just measure out to make sure everything's okay. If you've ever been to the eye doctor, I'm pretty sure you've gotten these tests done. They actually do a test to measure how much Lasik or how much laser you would need, and the diameter of how they would do it. After all of the tests, they also verify to see how dry your eyes are, because I know that if your eyes are very, very dry, you may not qualify for the surgery, because one of the side effects for the surgery is that your eyes will tend to feel a little dry afterwards. It does end up going away. At least for me, my eyes are fine, but when you first get the surgery, they're a little dry. So that's just something that they just take into consideration for you. Also, the amount of prescription that you have will depend on the type of laser or LASIK that they'll use on you. I, for one, had a pretty high prescription, so that I had the custom view wave link. I have to look into it. I know it was custom view wave something. So then they sat me down and they showed me the pricing. They do like payment plans. I'll get into the pricing later. But they do like payments that you could do, and then they also show you these glasses that you'll be wearing after the surgery, and you actually have to go to the pharmacy. You have to get these eye drops that they write for you. So I chose for my surgery to go after my graduation date, so I came back and I was ready for the surgery. Now, the day before the surgery, you have to wash your hair. You cannot have any sort of makeup, any hair product, nothing. So I just washed my hair and I put it into like 2 little French braids, just so it could be like out of the way for them. And they also say bring a sweater because the operation room is very, very cold. So the day of the operation as well, you have to have someone come with you, because of course you can't drive home. They have to take you home, so there has to be someone there to sign saying, hey, I'll be responsible to take them home. It's the day of the surgery, so I'm very nervous. I'm like shaking, I'm like freaking out. So I go in and they run the test again just to make sure that everything's okay, nothing has changed, everything is good to go. You are awake during the surgery. Again, I am a scaredy cat. I am scared of everything, and I was fine. So I went into the surgery room. It was very cold. They made me take my glasses off like by this like desk that they had, and the chair was like all the way over there. And if you're blind, to me it was like a trip to get there. So I was like, okay. So one of the nurses guided me towards the chair, which just basically looks like a dentist chair. And when I sat down on the chair, I was shivering. So they put a blanket on me. So thankfully they had a blanket. So they put that over me. And then the first thing they do, they ask you for the drops that they prescribe to you. So I brought those in, and they basically just took like a tape and they taped back my my top lashes, and then they also taped my bottom lashes. And because of course one of my worries was like, oh my god, like I can't blink, like I can't say this song without blinking. And I was like, what if I feel like I have to blink, or what's gonna happen? You actually think that you're blinking, but you're not. Like, so it didn't feel like any different. And of course your eyes get dry, so there's a nurse there with like the lubricating drops just to moisturize your eyes throughout like a couple of seconds, just to make sure your eyes don't dry up or anything like that. So after lubricating the eyes, they put these drops in my eyes, and all of a sudden the nurse was like, do you feel that? And it just looked like she was like doing this, like it looked like she was just putting her finger like over my eye, and I was like, do I feel what? And she's like, oh good, I put numbing drops in your eye, so you don't feel anything? And I was like, no. So she was touching my eye, and I was like, oh my god, okay, I don't feel it, great. So they did the same thing to the other eye, and they were numb, so I didn't feel anything. And then they slide me under this machine that it basically looks like when you go to the dentist and they put like all of the like machines over you. The doctor pulls in and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be your surgeon for today. There's gonna be a red little light that you have to stare at, and this is just gonna take a couple of seconds. The nurse is gonna be counting down the seconds, and that's it. So I was like, okay. So I went under the chair, and I was still freaking out, and there's one nurse there like still putting drops in my eyes, and they're like, doing everything they need to do. And then there was this red light. Now if you wear glasses and you take them off, you know how the light tends to have like a ring, and it's like a very big light. But when you put your glasses on, the light looks perfectly normal. I'm not sure. You have to know what I'm talking about. So the light looked very big for me. It just looked very blurry and just very big. So there's a circle that goes over my eye, and it just goes down and just does a little, like, it just does a little pressure. It didn't hurt, but it was just literally like pushing down a little bit, and I just see it turning, and then it goes up, and that's it. And I just felt water. And that was apparently the machine, like there's like a little machine that goes down and just cuts over the first layer, like your cornea, that flap. I don't know the technical name of these things. So they kind of just like open that little flap, and then this is where they're like, okay, we're gonna be counting down, and then there's like a laser that they're like, okay, you have to stare at the red light, and we're gonna count down. So there's a nurse counting down. I believe she started counting down from 52 seconds all the way to 0, and I just see like a blue like flashing light just around, just going around like my outer vision, just going around. And as I stared at the red light, I kid you not, the red light began to become like more perfect and more perfect and more perfect. The more the nurse counted down, she was like 52, 51, 30, 29, 28. She just kept going down. And the more they counted down, the more the laser would go around, the more perfect I would see the point, the light, until finally it became a perfect red dot. And when he was finished, I was like, oh my god, I can see the light. It was just a little light. And when he stops, the flashing, of course, the laser stops. It just sounds like like something clicking. When that stops, their machine comes back down, and then you just feel like water going all over your eye, and really that's just them like sealing the flap back over, and then it goes up and they're done. And it didn't hurt. I did not feel anything. It was super fast. People say it smells like burning hair, but I think it just smelled like, it didn't smell bad. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Anyways, it didn't hurt. It was super quick, and I could see, like, I cannot express to you how crazy that moment was, that I was like, wow, that's what I was looking at, the light. I could see, like, I could seriously see. But right after them with the surgery, they just put like a flap over your eye, and then they go on to the next eye. They finish with that eye, and once they were done, they covered that eye, and they have you sit down in like this, they take you over to like a resting room where you just sit down for about 15 minutes, and you're just sitting there kind of resting your eyes. You're not supposed to open your eyes, but you can like peek a little bit like from under. My eyes, they didn't hurt. They just feel like, when your eyes are tearing up a little bit because there's like onions in the room, but it's like pretty far, and it just feels like it's watering a bit. It didn't feel like oh my god, my eyes burn, like there's something in my eye. You know that there's something in your eye, but it doesn't bother to the extent that you have to take it out. You just know it's there. I don't know if that makes sense at all. Trust me, you can deal with it, like you can bear with it. So they actually recommend for you to take some sleeping pills so that you can rest, and then put the eye drops as recommended. So I know there was one like every 4 hours and another one every 8 hours or every 12 hours, something like that. But yeah, after everything was done, I went home and actually took the sleeping pills, and I went to sleep. The next morning was heaven, because I woke up and I was like, oh my god, I can see. Like I can see. To me, it was like, I can't express to you the emotion. Like literally, to me, that was the best day of my life, because you know what it's like to like get up and not have to like, oh, where are my glasses, where are my contacts. Like there was times I literally went to sleep with my contacts just so that I could wake up the next day and be able to see and just go about my day. So for me to be able to get up that next morning and just not have to do that was like incredible. The feeling, because of course you do see 20/20, but the eyesight does like fluctuate a little bit. It is normal for it to go like blurry a little bit, but then come back. Like it's almost like if when you have something in your eye and it just looks blurry and then it just goes away. That's what can happen. That's what did happen to me a little bit. By the third day, you see perfect. That kind of starts going away. The next day after the surgery, you do have to go back for a consultation that's already covered for in the payment that you have for the LASIK surgery. They just check your eyes to make sure that everything's okay and everything's fine, and you do have to check up with them, I do believe, like a year after the surgery happens. To go to sleep and to take a shower, you have to wear these specific glasses. You have to wear those for about a week until your cornea seals, because it does take about a week for your cornea to like, close off and just not open. You do have to be careful within that week, because anything that gets in your eye can infect your eye, and you have to go see them right away. Also, whenever you go outside, you might be a little sensitive to the sunlight, so you do have to wear glasses like shades and things like that, so that it protects your eyes. And this is just, again, throughout that week. I do believe that was most of it. As far as the pricing, at least for me, it depends where you go. My father did it in the States. It also depends on how much prescription you have. So if you have a lot of prescription, of course, it's going to cost more. For my dad, the surgery ended up costing him, I want to say $5,000, but that was in the States. I don't know how much. I know it was a lot more than me. I had more prescription than him, so I know in the States it would have cost me a lot more. For me, at least here, I did it in the LASIK center in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. And for me, it just cost, with everything, even the glasses included, it was $1,840. So yeah, $1,840, which I know is a lot. But again, they do what would be like monthly payments that you can do. You could split those up. A lot of people think that you go blind. I see 2020. I still see 2020. My dad still sees 2020. The eye surgery helps fix your eyesight. It does not stop, because this is just something of nature. It does not stop you from needing reading glasses in the future when you're older. However, you can still see like perfect. Of course, my dad now is older. Back then he didn't use reading glasses. Now he does see perfect from far, like he can read things and everything, but to read, of course, because of age, now he has to use reading glasses. So again, for me it's been 3 years. For my dad it's been 8 years. Before you do make your decision, I do like to do a lot of research, so I would recommend for you to do a lot of research. Don't just watch this video, watch a bunch of other videos. If I can, I'll try to like find the videos that I watched when I was trying to do the surgery that really like helped me and convinced me like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I really do hope that this was helpful. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.